His job was protecting our schools. Instead, he allegedly spent years systematically stealing from them and did it while he was on the clock.
And tonight, 13 Chief Investigator Darcy Spears uncovers the extent of the allegations against the CCSD police sergeant and the plea deal that erases almost every one of them.
CCSD Police Sergeant Robert Griffin pleaded guilty to 1 count of grand larceny last month, which we discovered was just a drop in a bucket of alleged thievery. At one point, the former officer known as Griff had more than 70 charges against him. They all involve stealing from schools. Those charges have gone away, but the bad feelings are alive and well.
So today kids learn differently than when I was in school. Paper and pencil and a notebook and your backpack. Today it's high-end technology.
Alan Diskin is an active parent. He served on a school organizational team and has done a lot of fundraising to help make sure his daughter and her classmates have everything they need to learn.
Schools are burdened with limited resources, and they have only so many dollars to go around.
Alan heard about Robert Griffin stealing high-tech items from West Tech, a school his daughter attended, but he said the details we shared with him are like salt on a wound.
We're trying to, slice a dollar 18 different ways to make sure we can stretch it as far as it goes. So to know that the work that we spent years doing then is diminished when those resources disappear is a pretty hard pill to swallow.
The hard facts we uncovered go far beyond a couple of stolen cameras at West Tech, which were the original charges in the first case. Court documents show Griffin is suspected of stealing dozens of MacBooks, iPads, and Chromebooks going back as far as 2014.
According to the police report, Griffin hit at least 22 schools all across the valley. That includes Sig Rogich Middle School on the west side, El Dorado High on the far east side, Saville Middle School way up north, and Foothill High in Henderson, just to name a few.
Somebody that misuses the public trust that impacts children is pretty bad.
The police report shows Griffin used his position as an officer to gain access to areas with district keys, bypassing alarms, and he would steer responding police units away from his location. But Sergeant Griffin didn't stop with deceiving fellow officers and stealing while on the clock. It appears he was also selling the stolen loot while on duty. Using online accounts, Griffin sent messages to customers, alerting them when he was on duty, saying he could go anywhere in the valley to meet them because he is a patrol sergeant, adding that he was in a blue police patrol vehicle.
And when bad things happen, that's when reform and change comes into place. I'm assuming as we go forward, we'll have better safeguards on the equipment, on the access, and it shows that it's needed because those are valuable resources that our children need.
We asked the district what lessons its leaders have learned and what safeguards they'll put in place to prevent officers or any employees with after-hours access from walking off with expensive items. And what about GPS tracking applications like Find My Mac? Why didn't those help crack this case sooner? The district did not respond by our deadline. With Griffin's plea deal to 1 charge of grand larceny, he could go to prison for at least a year, but could also get probation instead. And he owes the district $43,000 in restitution. Many wonder whether that's enough.
This involves children and children's resources that are being shortchanged in the classroom. That does affect children. I think that comes with more of an ethical dilemma.
We spoke directly with District Attorney Steve Wolfson. He tells us Griffin got the same deal as just about anyone would with similar circumstances, considering it's a non-violent crime and Griffin has no prior convictions. Wolfson also tells us Griffin appears to be sincere about paying back the district over $40,000, despite the fact that we found Griffin filed for bankruptcy. His sentencing is scheduled for July 15th. Darcy Spears, 13 Investigates.